Terrell Davis was dominant. Davis wasn't your typical superstar high school athlete. In fact, he only had one scholarship offer going into signing day. That offer was from Long Beach State, who had largely offered him due to his brother, a tailback on the roster, persuading them to do so. Davis was simply content with his college being paid for and didn't have his sights set on the NFL. However, any slim chance he had of making the pros would seemingly evaporate after the coach who recruited him suddenly passed away after his redshirt freshman year. He also broke both of his ankles during his first year of eligibility, which limited him to 262 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. But the worst was yet to come. Long Beach State would cancel their football program after the season due to funding and lack of fan support, leaving Davis in the dark. He had made peace with the fact that football may not be in the cards for him. However, just as he was about to call it quits, fate would step in, and he would receive a call from a recruiter from the University of Georgia, who reached out to him after being the only player on the roster to receive an endorsement from the Long Beach State coaching staff. Davis would transfer and eventually got a chance to show what he could do after incumbent starter Garrison Hurst graduated. While Davis was solid in the starting role, his numbers weren't exactly eye-popping. His best season resulted in 985 total yards and 8 touchdowns. This could have been attributed to several factors, including Davis dealing with injuries, Georgia becoming a pass-first team, and a difference in the line of thinking between him and the head coach Ray Goff. Needless to say, Davis's draft stock was negatively impacted, and he would fall to the 6th round, where he was drafted by the Denver Broncos, where he was expected to be a 6th-string running back and largely a special teamer. Initially on the roster bubble, Davis had seen the writing on the wall and resigned himself to the fact that he was likely to be cut, until one play changed everything. During his second preseason game, Davis would have his number called on a kickoff, and he would make an earth-shattering tackle that made a lasting impression on Mike Shanahan and the rest of the coaching staff. Davis would not only make the team, but he would become a core special teams player. He continuously improved and was eventually promoted to starting running back ahead of week 1. And he would not disappoint, having a breakout performance in just his 3rd game, accumulating 129 yards and 3 touchdowns in a win against Washington. He was a perfect fit for Mike Shanahan's zone blocking scheme, and by year end, he had racked up 1,117 rushing yards and 8 total touchdowns. The Broncos had found their running back of the future, and Davis would reopen the Super Bowl window for veteran quarterback John Elway, who had lost his first 3 championship appearances. With no time to waste, Davis would assert himself as one of the best running backs in the league by year 2, rushing for 1,538 yards and 13 touchdowns. He earned a Pro Bowl bid, was named a first-team All-Pro, and won Offensive Player of the Year. The Broncos would finish an AFC Best 13-3 and secured a first-round bye in the postseason. Unfortunately, they would suffer a shocking upset to a young Jacksonville Jaguars team, but it wouldn't be long before they would have a chance at redemption. Davis and the Broncos went into the following season extremely motivated and would once again face off against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first round of the playoffs. Only this time, the result was flipped. The Broncos would blow out the Jaguars 42-17 on the heels of Davis's 184-yard, 2-touchdown performance. This was the beginning of one of the greatest running back playoff runs in NFL history. Davis would run for 581 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns across 4 games. The yards are the 2nd most ever in a single postseason, and the touchdowns are 1st. His best performance, however, came when it mattered most, the Super Bowl. Davis would rush for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns, despite missing nearly an entire quarter with a migraine. His gutsy performance was the difference, and he would be named Super Bowl MVP. He would also help John Elway finally get over the hump. Fresh off a massive 1,750-yard, 15-touchdown regular season, Davis would somehow find a way to raise the bar once again, and would exceed the huge expectations put on him going into year 4. With no Super Bowl hangover in sight, Davis got off to a blazing start in 1998, picking up 273 yards and 5 total touchdowns in his first 2 games. He never slowed down, and went on to become the 4th player in NFL history to rush for over 2,000 yards. He also had 21 rushing touchdowns and was named NFL MVP. He also captured his 2nd Offensive Player of the Year award and was named a Pro Bowler and first-team All-Pro for the 3rd consecutive year. The only thing needed to complete the fairy tale season was another Super Bowl victory. And that is exactly what happened. Davis averaged 156 yards and 1 touchdown per game during their second championship run, giving him a remarkable 143 yards per game average for his playoff career, the highest in NFL history, and 14 more yards than the next closest running back. Unfortunately, this would be the beginning of the end for Davis, and the heavy usage would begin to take its toll. He would tear both his ACL and MCL in Week 4 of the 1999 season and will be lost for the year. He was never quite the same, and nagging injuries kept him in and out of the lineup for the following 2 years. With his body falling apart, he would call it a career in 2002. Despite only playing 7 seasons, Davis would be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2017. His first 4 seasons were some of the most dominant in NFL history. He rushed for a staggering 6,413 yards and 56 touchdowns. The yards are third most by a player in their first 4 seasons, and the touchdowns are first. Davis's peak was truly legendary, and there's no telling how much more he could have accomplished had he stayed healthy. His ability to press, stretch, and hit the hole was unparalleled. When you consider how many hurdles he had to overcome, his accomplishments are nothing short of incredible. I want to thank you for watching, and I would love to hear about your favorite memories of Terrell Davis.